I stammered. Jungkook, hey, what happened? His hand reached till my face. His thumb was touching my eyes. The tears I had in my eyes were ready to come out. He looking so worried. Thay, I'm I'm scared. I had never been in so much crowd. Jungkook, shh, don't be scared. I am with you. Thay, he said and smiled looking at me. Jungkook, he held my hand. You will not be scared. Thay, he took my hand and intertwined our finger. He looked into my eyes. His eyes had something which I could not explain. His hand in mine was sending sensation in my body. Suddenly, I feel no fear around me. He became my shield, who was trying to protect me from all the pain, fear. He looked at me and smiled. He leaned toward me and whispered, shall we? I nodded, feel relieved. Let's go shop, he said, and I giggled. After some time, I saw him and he called me. I went toward him and stopped in front of him. I looked at him. I saw him trying to say something. He started scratching the back of his head and smiled nervously. I know he wanted to say something, but he hesitated. Thay, what is it? I asked, looking into his eyes. Jungkook, I want you to. Thay, what? I want you to have this, he said, and I looked into his eyes. He was nervous, so was I. I don't know how to react. I was happy but little shy too. He was holding a light green golden dress in his hand. He looked at me and I smiled. I took the dress from his hand, which made him smile. Thay, I never wore it before, I said, looking in her eyes. So, now wear it, he said, and I smiled noddedly. He made me bought more dresses and they were all of his choice. He taking full interest in my shopping. After some time we had our lunch and we again start roaming in the mall. We were holding our hand finger intertwined with each other. While crossing a shop I stopped. Jungkook, what happened? Thay, nothing, let's go. Thay, I said and was to walk when Jungkook stopped me. Jungkook, bangles, huh? Thay, he said, and I smiled. Jungkook helped me to buying bangles. It was 5 of evening when we exit from mall. Thay, now home? Jungkook, not now, let's have dinner. Thyung, he said and parked the car in the parking of a huge restaurant. We both went inside the restaurant and we ordered food. After some time dinner was served and we started having our meal. We were talking or I can say Jungkook was talking and I was only listening him. I like to listen him. His voice has something that catch my ear, my eyes and my soul. He was looking at his plate and was talking. I was just busy in looking at him. Why are you so affordable and charming that your every act, every look took my heart away? Jungkook, huh? Did you say something? He looked at me and asked. I immediately lowered my gaze. My heart started beating fast. How he heard. There. No, I said and started eating slowly. You sure? He asked and with smirk, and I looked up to him and immediately looked down. His make was making my heart flutter. My eyes wanted to look up at him in his eyes, but my heart was stopped me because I knew if I look up, I will lost in them again. I nodded and kept myself busy in eating. Anything else, sir? He again asked, and I smiled on him, saying sir to me. Ice cream, I said, and looking at him, he narrowed his eyes. He ordered and I started biting my lips. Strawberry flavor. In this weather, when he asked, and I nervously nodded. He sat in the car and took mine away. And he started. After a while, the car stopped on an ice cream. When he started the car, I started eating my ice cream. I checked the time. It was 9:30 p.m. I was now really tired, and maybe he was also. I look at him who was busy in driving. The car was going on the road. I wait for him to say something, but he was all quiet. Thea, when will you reach home? I asked just to start conversation, Jungkook. Not now, Theon point of view, he said, and I look at him shocked. Not now, where's to? Jungkook, don't be shocked, you'll see, he said and smiled. I looked ahead but didn't say anything. He went out of the car and pulled me out also. He held my hand and we both start walking. I noticed that the air was more colder here and fast. We were walking in the darkness when I saw something and I looked at Jungkook who was smiling looking at me. We were standing near a beach. I could see the water from here. I looked at Jungkook and he pointed toward the water. I smiled and we started walking toward the beach. Jungkook removed his shoes and I followed him in doing the same. He held my hand and we started walking toward the water. The wet sand was touching our foot. It was giving me joy. We reached near the water and now the little and big wave were touching our feet. The touch of water was giving me happiness. Suddenly Jungkook turned to me and I became nervous. The look his eyes has enough to make my heart run fast. He took 2 steps and stood so close to me. I lowered my gaze with my head. I didn't know what should I do. He lifted my chin and I met his gaze. I looked into his eyes. His hand reached my face. Cold air suddenly touched my face and I closed my eyes. I felt him near, so near to me. I slowly opened my eyes. Our eyes met and I immediately looked down. He held my hand again and we started walking on the beach. I looked up at the sky where full moon was shining. While in our feet we were feeling the touch of water. I looked down on our hand and on our moving feet. I smiled and leaned a little and took some water in my hand and looked at Jungkook. He was looking around unaware of my actions. Giggling, I threw the water on his face, which startled him. Theo, enjoy, I said and bent down and again splashed water in him. Theo, he said and I ran to save myself. As I could see him running after me, I was laughing and was he. We both were enjoying our best time with each other. I tried to run fast but he reached me and as I took few steps more to run, I felt his arm around my waist and he splashed me toward him, making my hand to wrap around his shoulder and made me on my tips. Jungkook got up. He sat smiling and I giggled while breathing heavily. We both keep looking at each other while breathing heavily. He placed his forehead on mine and took deep breaths. He closed his eyes and I saw a little smile carved on his lips. Stop beating so fast. Not my mistake. Tell him to not do such thing. My heart said, which was true. His mirror closeness, his simple touch, his beautiful smile, everything was making me crazy. I never felt my heart beating crazily like nowadays. I start doing. I never felt this triangle which I was experiencing with his touch. I didn't know what he was doing to me. The love thing is strange. It creates a lot of emotions, sensations, feeling inside us that was felt nothing but only love. I could feel only his love in my heart, which was increasing day by day for him. I kept looking at him and then my eyes catch the mole under his lips. My hand moved from his shoulder to his eyes and without thinking anything, I touched it with my lips or finger. As I did, he opened his eyes. Now what? You should control your feelings. I pulled my hand back immediately and looked down, feeling embarrassed. Theo? He called me and I looked up and my eyes went to his lips. I failed to kiss his lips on that second. I looked at immediately and started biting my lips on what I would thought. I could have thought like this. I scrolled myself, but truly my heart was beating so fast on what I was going to do or thinking to do. My heart jumping in my chest as his finger touched my lips. I look up at him and who shook his head negatively. Jungkook, I told you not to bite your lips, he said and keep running his finger on my lower lip. Jungkook, I called him, whose eyes were capturing my lips all the time. You look beautiful when you're shy. Jungkook, it's late. Jungkook, home sweet home, he said and I smiled. He unwrapped his arm from my waist and I removed my hand from his neck, and we stood in front of each other. Suddenly the atmosphere became awkward from both of us. I saw him stretching his head and smile nervously. I feel nervous and awkward. We should go home now. I heard him and I nodded without looking at him. We started walking toward our car. The weather was so beautiful with clouds and cool air. I look up at the sky. Soon I felt a drop of water on my face. It started raining. He started the car and started driving. The rain was also started. Little droplets of rain were falling on the glass of the car. I smiled looking at the rain, which got heavier. I looked at him and he turned to see me. He smiled while I lowered my head. Thyang. Finally we reach home. It's still raining. Thank you, I slowly said. For what? He asked and I smiled. For such a beautiful day, for such good memories, and for the gifts, I added and he smirked. And he asked and his smirk stopped my heart. Why is he looking at me like this? And why this smirk? And for I was trying to say but his eyes were disturbing me, making me nervous. Somebody tell him to stop looking at me. With so intensity, I start biting my lips. His hands travel onto my lips and he slightly touched my lip. His touch sends shiver to my body. I felt my body get heated on just his simple touch. My cheeks, I knew, would be now as red as tomato. Jungkook, don't touch me like this, or else. Or else what? Nothing. Come on, what do you do if he didn't remove his hand from your lips? I will, you will what? Shut up. My inner voice was disturbing me and arguing. His fingers were still on my lips. Jungkook, I told you not to bite your lips. Jungkook point of view. His breathless voice calm as I kiss his ear, and he snuggled his face in my neck shyly. I want to tell you something, I whispered. Jungkook, let me tell you. Pulling him more closer, I said. I leaned closer and again snuggled my face in his neck, making him gasp again. Jungkook, it's difficult. I stopped inhaling his fragrance. Thyang, what? Slowly. Jungkook point of view. He asked breathlessly as I know my touch was affecting Thyang. Jungkook, Thyang, Jungkook. I was about to confess my love when we heard a doorbell. I moved back and looked at him, who was already looking at me. Again, doorbell ring and we slowly moved back. Separated from each other, I looked at him, who looked down and his face turning to ripped tomato. I smiled while scratching my head. When again I heard a doorbell. Jungkook, I'll just come, I said, and he nodded with shivering and lowered eyes. Minnie, Tete uncle. Jungkook, so why all of the sudden? Asked Jungkook, looking at his brothers. Yoongi, did we disturb your romance? Jungkook, it's not like that. I was just asking. Thyang, Jungkook said, and I looked at him, who looking at me once and then turned to his brother. We came here to meet you too. As you know, it's mom and dad anniversary tomorrow, so we decided to celebrate it together.